Morning, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute or so as people are trickling into the Zoom space. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline Horn. I am excited that you are participating in our International Student Community Meeting this morning. My role on campus is the Assistant Director for New Student Programs. And we want to let you know that this session will be recorded so you can go back to it on our orientation YouTube channel, which we'll share in the chat later on in the session. And that if you have any questions throughout the presentation at all, you can use the Q&A feature and we will answer all of those towards the end of the session. So as you hear information, if you have any questions, feel free to put that there. We are excited to have you joining us today, and I'm going to let one of our students introduce herself.
Hi, everyone, and my name is Mia Spencer. I'm a rising junior, and I've been working with the new student programs just to put together orientation for this upcoming fall, and I'm super excited to meet everyone this fall.
And we are excited to have Anna Garson joining us this morning, and we'll hand it over to her to facilitate this conversation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Garson. I'm the director of the Center for International Students and Scholars. I'm very excited today to talk to you all a little bit about the visa process, the services we offer, and the programs we'll be having this fall as we welcome you on campus. So we are going to get started with the presentation. Perfect. All right, so this is a little overview of our agenda for today. So we're going to give a brief summary of our office, who we are. I'll introduce you through photos to our other staff members. And then we're going to discuss a little bit about visas, your initial arrival to the US and to Bentley, and then a high-level overview of F1 visa regulations that you'll need to keep in mind as you're a student here studying on the F1 visa. And then we're going to talk about a few ways that you can get involved with CISS programs or CISS co-sponsored programs, and then we'll leave plenty of time for questions and answers. So I just noticed in going through this agenda, it's probably good for me to mention that our office is called the Center for International Students and Scholars, but we do often use the acronym CISS. So you're welcome to call us in that way as well. And that's what we'll use to call ourselves moving forward in the presentation. Great. So this is our team. So as I mentioned, my name is Anna Garson, and I'm the director of the CISS. And we have Brittany Mackey, who is our senior advisor. She does issue some of the initial I-20 documents. So you may see her name on your I-20, or if you emailed asking questions. We have Sam Bohr, who's an advisor in our office. And then we have Teresa Lamro, who's our senior coordinator. So Terry sits at the front desk. She is the first face, one of the first faces you'll see as you walk in, who can help you in figuring out what you need and how we can help you. We also have a great student staff who will be joining us this fall. So we also have quite a few students working for our office that you will meet. So we are, CISS staff members, but you'll also hear us called DSOs. That stands for Designated School Official. It's a name that the government gives us. And that means that we're responsible for creating your I-20 and maintaining the records of our international students in the government database, which is called SEVIS. So if you ever hear the word DSO, know that it's anyone in our office who can help you with any DSO related task. If you need a travel signature, which we'll discuss later, or any other type of document or advising. So this is a little bit about our population. So if we count all of our international graduate students, undergraduate students, and then our handful of scholars on campus, exchange students, and then students we have on work authorization, we have over 1,100 international students. And we have over 78 countries represented. And so this represents about 13% of the undergraduate population and 20% of the graduate population. These numbers change slightly depending on the semester and the year and how the numbers are calculated, but know that you will be coming to join a great international community here at Bentley. So what can we help you with? So our office serves primarily students who are on two different visa types. So the F1 visa, which you all are all likely coming on the F1 visa. And then we also have advised students on the J1 visa. So those are our exchange students who are coming for just a semester or a year or scholars. So students who are coming to do students or professionals who are coming to do research at Bentley. We can help with employment authorization. So some of you may want to do internships during your studies. We can help you, advise you, as well as give you special I-20s in order for you to be able to work on or work off campus. We can also help you with travel. So we'll talk, there's a travel signature you'll need to leave and re-enter the country during your studies. We can advise you on the documents you'll need to bring if you need to get your visa renewed or any other immigration regulations related to travel. Aside from the immigration, we can help you with adjusting to life in the US. We're often the first place that our international students go. If they need help connecting with another office, we'll give some presentations at the start of the semester about navigating the US higher education system, adjusting to life in the US. And then also, as I mentioned, we refer students to many different offices here on campus. Aside from that, we offer some cultural programming. So we have celebratory events to celebrate different aspects of the cultures where our students come from. As well as, we put on a program called Culture Fest every year, which we'll talk a little bit about in a future slide. So we're going to go over pretty briefly some of the F1 requirements and regulations. We have lots of detailed instructions on this, especially the obtaining your F1 visa piece. Look, when you've received your I-20, you should receive a comprehensive packet that has all of the information you need. So for obtaining your F1 visa, you need to have submitted all of your documents, including financial information, to Bentley Admissions. And once you've done all of that, you'll receive your Bentley Form I-20, which is that document that you need to apply for the F1 visa. And you'll use that to pay what's called an I-901 fee. So that's the fee. It's a fee that is basically a maintenance fee for the US government database. So you'll pay that using your I-20, the information listed on it. And then once you've done that, you'll complete the visa application, which is it's called the Form DS-160 government form. So you'll complete that application and gather the supporting documents. Each consular post is different. So you'll want to check with a specific consular post about the documents they require, but generally it's going to be that visa application form, your I-20, financial documentation, your admission letter to Bentley, and then again, any other documentation that they are requesting. You'll schedule your visa appointment if required. There's many consular posts that are not requiring appointments anymore, but some still are. So you'll want to check and schedule your appointment. And then the last step is obtaining your F1 visa in your passport. So there's no exact timeline on how long it takes to from having the appointment to getting the visa in your passport. It really depends on the country. Sometimes it does take a it can take up to a few months, so you should definitely be applying as soon as possible. Then you will, can we go back just one? Thank you. And then you'll obtain your F1, so you may enter the country up to 30 days before your I-20 start date. So it's really important that you all check your I-20s. Usually the start date is the first day of orientation. Check the start date and then count 30 days, and that is the earliest day for you to arrive in the US. We won't be able to offer you housing that soon, or we won't have any programming. Our office will be open if you want to check in, but that's just how early you can enter. The other note is that if you are from Canada or Bermuda, you actually do not need to get the F1 visa in your passport. You still will request entry to the US F1 status by showing all of the same documents at the port of entry or the border, but you don't actually need the visa stamp. All right, so for your initial arrival, so you've already obtained your visa, and you're planning to arrive up to 30 days before that start date on your I-20. Make sure that you carry your passport that is valid 6+ months into the future. This is really important for all travel and all of the time that you're on an F1 visa in the US. You'll want to make sure that your passport is valid 6+ months into the future. You need your unexpired F1 visa. You need that initial I-20, so don't pack it in your luggage. You don't need a travel signature on page 2, just the version that is printed, signed by our office on page 1, and then also signed by you. And then we also recommend that you carry for your first time financial documentation, that same documentation you showed admissions or showed to the consular post, as well as your admissions letter. So those last 2 bullet points are optional, but highly, highly recommended. So Customs and Border Patrol, those are the people who work at the airport, known as CBP. So they're the border officials. They're going to review your documents at the port of entry. So just because you have the visa doesn't mean that they won't ask you questions. It doesn't mean that they won't check your documents again at the border. So it's really important that you have everything you need. And again, if you are a Canadian or Bermudian citizen, it is especially important that you carry all of those documents, because you do need to request entry in F1 status. So really exciting this year, and something that all of you should be planning for is our International Student Welcome and Orientation. So this is going to precede, so come before general orientation activities. So it's going to be a day and a half where you can move in, get settled, and then we'll have specific programming, specific sessions for our international student community. So move-in and our welcome reception is on Wednesday, August 30th. So please plan to arrive that day. The earlier you arrive in the day, the better, just because we do have a reception plan that gives you time to get settled. We'll have some optional programming that day as well. You can get to know the campus. And then Thursday, August 31st is going to be starting early that morning. We're going to have sessions where you can get to know some of your peers. We'll have an international student panel. We'll do an overview of the immigration requirements for your F1 visa, and also give you an introduction to campus services. So there's also quite a few things that I'm sure all of you want to get set up pretty quickly, like your cell phone number or your cell phone plan, bank accounts, all of those things. So, there will be a vendor fair during that day as well to help you get set up. So the immigration overview is going to be very important, but we will also be sending out later in the summer an online module, so an online session that goes through all of the immigration requirements for your F1 visa. So we found that it's easier to give the information to you in that format, just because it is a lot, and during your first day here, you're probably going to be learning many things about the university, about adjusting to life here. So we figured it may be easier for you to have that information ahead of time so that you can listen to it, really digest it, understand it, and then we'll have plenty of time during Thursday for us to answer any questions you have about it. The other piece that you need to keep in mind, this is considered mandatory, so you should plan to attend this. It's a part of your orientation program. We will also have during this week a way that you can complete a virtual immigration registration. So once you arrive in the US, we need to click a button in that SEVIS system I mentioned before that says you've arrived. So we will send out an electronic form that you will need to fill out so that we can mark your arrival in the US. So not only is it important that you arrive on time to come to the orientation, but also so that you can complete this process. All right, so general rules and regulations related to the F1 visa. So just before we jump into that, a few acronyms. I already mentioned what DSO means, the designated school official. SEVIS is that student and exchange visitor information system. So your I-20 document lives there. It's the government database. And then the other acronym you may hear is SEVP. So that's the Student and Exchange Visitor Program. So that's the branch of the government that makes all of these lovely rules that you have to follow while you're here. So firstly, all undergraduate students will be expected to study in person for the 2023-2024 academic year. During COVID, we had more of a hybrid and remote model. That's not the case anymore. And in fact, per your F1 visa, you need to be studying in person. So you should be planning, if you're not living on campus, you should be living locally. As an international student on an F1 visa, you also are required to always maintain a minimum course load of 12 credits. So that's generally 4 classes per semester. So if there's any issue with you enrolling in the correct number of classes, or maybe you have a medical issue that's preventing you from attending, any of those types of things, you want to reach out to our office ahead of time so that we can help you, because it's really important for your F1 status. Another thing to keep in mind is that students on F1 visas cannot work off campus without authorization. So generally, students become eligible for off-campus employment after an academic year. We have a lot of information on our website about CPT and OPT, which are the types of work authorization you'll be eligible for once you're here. So we won't go over those today because it's really detailed, and again, you're not eligible right away. So you have some time to learn about that. And then, as I mentioned, you need to create a mandatory immigration registration process once you arrive. And then once you're here, you need to keep the CISS updated with any change of address, any change in your personal information, really anything that's listed on your I-20. You want to make sure that you update us with, so that we can update your immigration record. All right, so these are some ways that you can get involved. So we're transitioning now from the boring immigration information and going into some more fun ways that you can get involved on campus. So our office runs what is called the Worldview program. So it's an international student speaker series that promotes global awareness, intercultural sensitivity, and unity amongst the campus community. So really, it's an option for international students to serve as ambassadors throughout campus and present on different topic areas. So, we often have students who go into classrooms and present in like language learning classrooms. They'll present in the language that the class is learning, maybe a little bit about your home country. We've had presentations for offices on sustainability efforts in students' home country, sports in your home country, ways in which, our international student experience in the residence halls. We've had students go into classrooms and talk about gender identity in their home country. So it really, we present really varied presentations each year. It's also a great way to practice your public speaking skills. It's a great thing to put on your resume, and we really love this program. So we'll share more about it when you arrive, and also the opportunity to sign up to be an ambassador. We also co-host Culture Fest each year. So Culture Fest is a week-long events around International Education Week in November. So it is a week of events hosted by students, student organizations, faculty, staff, to celebrate the different cultural identities represented on campus. So we've had an international trivia table, fashion shows, Diwali celebration, a food festival with food from all over the world, drag bingo, movie showings, just to name a few. So many opportunities for you to share, your background, any of your cultural background or identities with the campus community. And so we have a proposal process. So if you're interested in hosting an event, or you just want to figure out a way to share something with the campus community, we encourage everyone to submit a proposal, which will come out early in the fall semester. And then the International Student Association. So our office advises the ISA, as they're known. So this is a group of students who identify as international. They have regular meetings. They advocate for international students across campus, and they also do excursions. In the past, they've gone to New York, and they've gone to an amusement park, apple picking, all different types of excursions, as well as host several big events on campus, one of them being Festival of Colors, which happens in the spring. So we encourage anyone who is interested in getting involved or just meeting fellow international students on campus, not just new ones, but students who have been there, been here for a few years. We encourage you to go to the ISA table at the activity fair, so that you can connect with them and get your name on the list. And then lastly, here's how you can learn a little bit more about our office. So our website, bentley.edu/CISS, has tons of information for you on all of the things we've discussed today, all of the boring regulations, as well as the fun ways to get involved. And follow us on Instagram. So our handle is Bentley CISS. It's a little bit quiet right now because it's the summer and we don't have many students on campus, but we do post there flyers about events. We share events from other organizations on campus. So please follow us, and we will be sharing more about our office and our programs. And then this is how you can contact us. So we are open during the summer. So we, just like a lot of other administrative offices on campus, we are open during the summer through August 11th, Monday through Thursday. We're closed Fridays, but we're open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5:30 p.m. And then after August 11th, most administrative offices will be switching back to our Monday through Friday schedule. And we also have Zoom advising. So if you do want to connect with an advisor, if you have specific questions, you can check out our website. We have the schedule as well as the Zoom link that you can connect to at the designated times to speak with an advisor. If you happen to be here, maybe you're already in the US, you're welcome to visit us during office hours as well. We're in the Student Center, so where the main dining area that you will be using while you're here is located, but on the top floor, Student Center Suite 310. So you can come and say hello. So we look forward to meeting all of you in the fall. And now we have some time if any of you have questions. I will get started with some of the questions that were already pre-submitted. And then if anyone else has any other questions, please feel free to use the question and answer function. So there is a question about the process to transfer the F1 visa. So how long does it take if you just graduated from a US high school? So this is called a CVIS transfer. So when you come from one US school and you're transferring to Bentley. So this is a little bit of a trick question because it really depends. So your school where you've been studying needs to release your CVIS record or your I-20 record to us. So once they've released that to us, they set a date. They set what's called a release date. And on that date, we have full access to your record and we can issue your I-20. So it really depends on when they set the release date. If you've already finished your program, then that release date could be as soon as possible. And then it just takes us, we do ask for, at least a week to be able to issue your I-20, just because we have a lot of students coming in right now. But the transfer process is relatively easy. It makes it easier than, if you're outside of the country, because you don't need a new F1 visa. So, it's not a long process, but it really depends on when they release your record. How long can you stay in the US and work after graduation? So this has to do with the types of work authorization I mentioned previously. So this working after graduation, or the type of work authorization that you're eligible for on the F1 visa, is known as OPT. Generally, you're eligible for 12 months of OPT per degree level. And then if you are in a STEM program, so science, technology, engineering, or math, then you are actually eligible to extend that work authorization for another 2 years. So that means you could stay in the US working, still with your F1 visa, not needing sponsorship for up to 36 months after graduation. And then can you choose the dorm you are in? So for questions about residence halls, I would recommend that you contact our residential center staff team. I know they have probably been communicating with you all a lot recently about housing selections. So I would really recommend connecting with them about what your options are in terms of choosing roommates and choosing the hall that you live in, or the type of room. Is there tutoring in case it's needed? So yes, there's many different opportunities to receive help or tutoring. So there's different resources you can access on campus. So I would first recommend, checking in with academic services as a first step once you're here, connecting with your advisor so that they can really explain all of the many resources Bentley has to offer. We have an ESOL center, so that's English as a second language. So if you need help with, writing essays or things, that are more specific to, language and making sure that things are grammatically correct, the ESOL center is great. There are peer tutors on campus as well. Professors have office hours, which generally on the academic side, office hours means that it's a time when you can go and get specialized help or ask professors any questions about the coursework that you're doing. How many international students are there at Bentley? So we answered this a little bit earlier. So as I mentioned, all of the different populations we have that are international, we actually have over 1,000. So that includes all of, as I mentioned, the exchange students, our graduate students, as well as our handful of scholars. So that was it for the pre-submitted question. Let's see. So for health insurance, do we need to complete the enrollment form, or what is provided by the insurance? Okay, so this is going to be, I actually don't know the details of your health insurance. So that is not managed by our office. So we use an external health insurance company, but it is managed by, depending on what your question is that either going to be Student Financial Services or the health center, who has more information on that. I would, if you have this, I would recommend if you email us ga_CISS@bentley.edu, I can try to find who is the correct person to answer this question. You do need health insurance in the US. You're going to be required to enroll in the Bentley Health Insurance Plan. And then what we plan to do during your first week is invite someone from the health insurance plan and from the health center to sort of explain to you how health insurance works in the US. If it's your first time in the US, it may be somewhat new. We have a very, very complicated US healthcare system. So it's important that you understand sort of how you can use your health insurance, since we want to make sure you are healthy and have the services you need while you're here. I don't see any other questions, but I believe we have a few minutes, right, Mia and Caroline, in case anyone has some last minute questions. All right, give it maybe 10 seconds for folks who may be writing right now. All right, okay, email address in the chat. Yes, absolutely. Contact us. So we're happy to refer you to the right office. So contact us first, and then which I just sent to you. Actually, let me put it in the chat as well, as you mentioned, because I don't know if everyone saw that. Oh, I'm not sure that I have the ability to send it to everyone in the chat. All right, so it's GA_CISS@bentley.edu in case anyone missed that. And then are there any orientation activities on the weekend we arrive? So you should be arriving, unless you have specifically requested any sort of early accommodation, you should be arriving by Wednesday. So Wednesday, August 30th. So that is when your orientation begins. So as I mentioned, there's a pre-orientation that is specific activities for and sessions for international students. And then your regular orientation activities begin on that Thursday. So you should be here by then. And yes, there are many orientation activities. You will be receiving, I assume, a complete schedule in the months to come. So you should definitely plan to be here by then. I don't know if Caroline wants to jump in there.
Yeah, sure. So we will have an entire weekend of events for you all to really get you oriented to the Bentley community. So we'll start with convocation on that Thursday afternoon. So you'll wrap up the international student orientation and you'll hop right into convocation and the orientation welcome on Thursday. And then Friday through Sunday, we'll have a lot of different programs for you all. They will be mandatory for you. So we'll hear from academic services. We'll have some community outreach pieces for you, talk a little bit more about wellness, but a lot of different activities, a lot of engagement opportunities for you to connect with other new students and also our upper class student leaders with our orientation team. So a lot of great things to come when you arrive on campus. All right. So if you have any more questions, feel free to email the CISS. If you have any general orientation questions, feel free to reach out to our GA_orientation@Bentley email address. We will have this recording up on our Bentley Orientation YouTube channel, and we'll have information for you all posted on our Instagram, through newsletters, through emails. So make sure you're checking that Bentley email throughout the summer and looking out for some of our virtual engagement events. But we appreciate you spending some time with us today, and hopefully we are able to answer some of your questions. And thank you again to Anna for taking the time to present.
Thank you all. Look forward to meeting you soon.
Have a good day.